let's see here. Time is up now, so let us move on. I just flew from Kentucky to Texas last night. I got here last night. Yeah, it's because I will do the Buddha birthday celebration on this weekend. On this Sunday, after that, I fly to New Jersey to do another one over there and come back on Thursday. Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. So let's start the class. Yes.
Hi. We have our lunch together a week from tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On the 29th. Yeah. Okay. Let's us let me share the screen then. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, again, by the way, Chris, on the Saturday of the, let's see here. Let me check one more time the schedule. Yeah, 29. You have times you can come to have lunch together with us on the 29th Saturday.
Probably so.
Yeah, please come and can meet Dr. Michael in person too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meeting up here.
Yeah, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. On Saturday.
10 a.m. Okay.
Yeah. 10 a.m. Yeah. Okay, let's just move on. Let me share with you the screen for the articles. How was the article, Dr. Michael? How was that?
I liked it. It showed me that the idea of karma was much more complicated than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So I was glad for the conclusion where the writer brought everything together and tried to sum things up. And I think that was the most helpful part for me on a first reading. Now, I think on later readings, I'll get more out of it. But I was glad for the conclusion, and I did not realize how complicated it was.
Yeah, that is very complicated in Buddhist view, and somehow it is the author's link the Buddhist idea of karma to Freud idea of psychoanalysis. So, Chris, have you read that? You read that part or no?
I haven't got that far. I've read some articles about karma in the past, but not this recent article that you sent out.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can discuss about the basic idea of karma as well as the complicated idea too. So here's the author's defined. Actually, he put. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah. So he put 3 questions for his writing. The first one, whether karma is the only causal factor that is responsible for our current mindset, a physical makeup, a material condition, or state of the wealth. That's his first question. The second question is that if we done with our action, so can we purify or can we eliminate our karmic fruit retribution? That's the second question. The third question is that are there any kind of action that do not lead to accumulating the fruit or result? So it's very interesting articles for these 3 questions. So the first one, yeah. So is our karma only factor that is responsible for who we are physically, mentally, and spiritually? That's the first question. Right, Thăng Thiên, you follow that? Right? Yeah, and then and the second one, can we purify? Can we eliminate our karma? And the last one, any kind of karma that go beyond the result. That means if you do, you would not receive any kind of but I mean karma. That's what it means. So that's three questions there. Yeah. And then have you read these articles?
Yes, yeah, Yao Fei. Yes, I have read today. It was it's a good essay, and it's a lot of debate, I would say, between different school of thoughts. So I learned a little bit, and it gave me some insight into it. But kind of interesting how the person, the author, is also a Western using Western psychology to help kind of interpret the thoughts of karma using Freud, and also the other lady, Connie, or so that was interesting just to see her perspective of a Westerner perspective. So it's kind of interesting for me to listen to it. Yeah, I've read on it, but the three question is very preparing with that. But it's kind of for me, it was always been as a Buddhist practicing. I practice, and I was told that it is karma, and those two questions that the author asked was interesting for me as well. Can you eliminate, or can the good actions be can you resolve the past? Is your action can be do good enough so that you can resolve what you have done in the past? And that was some interesting debate on that, and I'm kind of curious what your thoughts on that one. Can that be erased, or is that can be minimized? So interesting for me to hear that perspective.
Yeah. Okay. How about let us discuss? I'm almost say with these three questions first before we look at that article. So the first one is that is karma the only factor that process fear in Buddhist view? All right. Let me go back. Let me step back. In Buddhist view, there's no greater that grade our life, physically, mentally, and spiritually, except our own karma. That's a Buddhist action. That's a good notion. You follow, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah. So we develop a certain type of karma. That's why we're here. Now, of course, forget about the past, but look at the time that we mature enough, right? So we most of the time are the main factors of who we are now, right? Whether we go to school, whether we teach, whether we done a business or in any kind of relationship. So what are the main factors of our life? So what do you think, Dr. Michael? Is that in line of your thought, or what do you think?
I think that what the article was saying to me is that people's opinion of the influence of karma varies from being very important to being the only thing that determines our station in life, our perspective on life. And I thought the writer argued that there could be other factors, but that it was principally karma that shaped the way that we move through the world. Did I get it right?
Yeah. About Chris, what do you think?
I'm a little confused. I mean, I guess I have a question. Could someone else's karma negatively affect you?
Definitely, yes. But here, put this way, even they may have some kind of effect to your life, but you are the one can determine that type of effect to your life. For example, let's say when we were in school, right? We studied with some professor or teacher, and if we didn't like that professor, we move on to different professor. We have the choice instead of stick with that professor, of course, unless that's the requirement. So, but no matter what, whether that teacher or professor provide good lesson or guide us properly or not. We are the one who study the subject, not the professor. He just or teacher or even employers, whoever, they provide us some means to guide us, to help us, but we are the main factor to finish up our schooling. And even now, here you are a professor, you are a teacher. Yes, the way that your principal, right, the way that the chancellor run the school, run the university, of course, will affect the whole faculties members, right? But still, individually, you are the one that determine how you teach the student and how you like to stay in course, on the course of that kind of policy or path, whether in school or in any relationship, right? So let's say people get stuck with some kind of negative relationship, right? Unhealthy relationship. They have the choice to step out. You understand what I mean now? That's mean
So.
mostly we have the ability to transform our own karma. Of course, in Buddhism, we say that this is some kind of what they call the it's not the fate, but the strong karma that has been ribbon that we cannot change. It's like the fruit has been ribbon and you cannot change that. For example, let's say if we encounter caution, right, and nothing we can change. Or if let's say if you let's say if in your class, right, you have some mess up student, right, and they don't listen to you at all, so nothing you can change, so you need to move on. But of course, life has two aspects, right? The positive and the negative, right? So in our class, we have some good student and bad student. Yes, we're glad that we have good student to listen to our lesson, to our guidance. But of course, we have to accept whoever rest into our class, whether they're good or bad. Yes, Dr. Michael?
However, it's not our karma that determines whether we receive good students or bad students, is it?
Yeah, that's not
Really?
That's what they call correction karma. Excuse me,
Okay.
let me move out to turn on the cam here. Yeah. Đang giảng. Chủ nhật tới có ha. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I yeah. So let's see here. So you got the idea, Chris?
I think so.
So no matter what kind of situation, like we still have the ability to change the situation. We have that ability. Especially even during the COVID-19, right? Yes, almost everything shut down, but we still have ability to teach, to carry on. Of course, many people, they may give up their job, and they lost their job, but they may find different ways of surviving. Depend upon how much they want to put effort into their work. It makes sense now? Yeah, and of course, this type of COVID affect to most of us around the world. There's not much exception, but still, we're the one that determine the course of our life. Whether we want to move on or whether we want to get stuff. Yeah. It makes sense now?
Oh yeah.
Yes, Anh.
Yeah, thưa thầy. Earlier, I think Dr. Michael mentioned about whether or not if a student have karma to connect to a professor. So in a real life situation, let's say if I connect to you, Dr. That, there must be a karma for me to kind of gravitate toward your teaching versus someone else. Well, I may have met someone else previously and it didn't work out. So there must be a karma that caused me to go to that first professor, Professor A. It didn't work out. Now, so that my karma lead me to the next person, which is you, as an example. So how could you, so the previous conversation with Dr. Michael, you say, well, it's not karma, it's a choice. Well, it's hard for me to reconcile that. As a Buddhist practitioner, I always thought it was karma lead you to everything. Doesn't matter if it's negative or bad. So in my mind, I'm confused sometimes as to whether or not is it really karma in my past life that caused me all these things, or is it my choice that in this life, like is it choice go first, or is it because of karma that bring me there and then I have a choice to do it? But at first, the first thing is that it's the karma that caused me to be in this situation, and then in this life I have the choice of what the term that they use in this article, volition, volunteer, the drive, the eagerness to change or to not accepting it. But in Buddhism, we say accept what what karma we dealt with, accept it with ease, and you don't carry a lot of baggage in the next life. So I'm confused on that concept a little bit. So I need some help on that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yes. It's because the temple is here too small and people walk in the door, so it's just a lot of noises. Noise. I need to move into the group then. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So what you say again is that our karma connect with other people, right? And how we stay away from those kind of bad influence. Is that what you say?
Yeah, because earlier Dr. Michael said, well, if he's a professor, he doesn't have a choice to pick the students that come to him. Well, it's just the same thing in life. I met somebody, there must be a karma that I met this person A, and then he's not a good teacher, so I have to choose. I personally pick a choice to pick someone else. That would be a karma, or is it like, yeah, it has to be a karma. So that cannot be just a random thing, right? To me, it felt like, it's very karma lead everything, rather than the choice that I pick. So that's the thing that I'm confused about. Is it a choice? Is it a karma?
Oh,
you see, is it because of, is it karma come first, or is it the karma lead me to like point A, and then I have the choice to either go with that choice, live with that choice, or make a volition, a voluntary action to change my life to do, in a different way. So that's why I'm confused on whether is it karma actually forced me to stay in that position A, and I cannot change. If it's karma, how can I change it, right? That's I'm confused on that actually.
So you're saying is that if you meet someone that may have bad influence on you, right? Whether it's your choice or whether
correct, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe because my karma lead me there, but then I realize, hey, in this life, I realize I have a choice, a volition to change for a good actions, so I can be, to lead me toward the ultimate goal, like the non-self, so on and so forth. But what happened? My karma not allow me to do that because I have all these previous attachment in my mind. I said, yes, I need to practice on this to move away, but my karma pull me back. You're not going anywhere on, because you have to pay your the bad thing that you did in the past, action that you did. So that's why I'm confusing on that.
Oh, that's be a good question. I think this be good for us to discuss. Thân Thiện, what do you think about the last question, Thân Thiện?
Yeah, Mo Phật Thầy. I think in the previous life, when you meet the person for the first time, or you maybe meet this person for many lifetimes, and you create a certain type of karma, either good or bad, and you are likely to meet this person in this present lifetime. If you in a class that you have a good student that listen to you and pay attention to you, and I think this is type of a good connection that you made in the past because of the karma you created with this person. Or if you created a bad karma with this person in the previous life, and it's likely that you are likely to have a bad student that don't listen to you, don't pay attention to you, and don't do their work.
Okay.
And this type of a person that let's have a bad connection with you, and it will give you a hard time. And this is how I understand it.
Yeah, about Chris, what do you think about the question?
Having trouble going back and forth between how much is the effect of my personal actions and karma versus I guess randomness, if that's the word I'm looking for. I think maybe that's what Anna was trying to say, or what he was saying.
Okay. Yeah. And Dr. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Ant's question as well. It's one that perplexes me. Let me give you an example, and maybe you could answer my questions on the example. When I'm playing cards, I am whatever the card game I'm playing, I need to play the cards that are dealt to me. The dealer deals my cards, and I have a hand of cards, and those are the ones that I make the choices on. I can understand that I am creating karma by making those choices, right? Is there karma involved with the cards that I was dealt?
Definitely. Yeah. Here. Let me show you answers then.
Is that kind of what you were talking about, An?
Yes. I think I'm being dealt a cards. The dealer is not like God. Okay, for Buddhism, right. So the dealer, the card was dealt to me because my previous actions. Therefore, these are cards I received. Okay. The question is, at the table, I'm in the table of cards, and I can choose to play those cards. I can say, nope, I don't like these cards. I can fold it. I left the casino. I do something else. But maybe my past life, I did something. I cheat or something, and then the bouncer came along and say, you have to play this game, and you have to lose all your money. But in my mind, I want to go, but it forced me to be there, and therefore I have to pay my because I cheat or something, for example. Therefore, I have to pay back the bad thing that I did. I cannot get rid of it, even though I want to, but that's only my mind, right? So I'm kind of confused on that myself as well, as to what comes first. Karma come first, then you have a choice, or is it always karma?
Yeah, let me share with you this Buddhist notion. as long as you have intention, you develop your karma. Like Dr. Michael just mentioned, yeah, you have choice to pick up the card to play. You have the choice whether
Is everyone still on?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think we.
Yeah.
Do you hear Dr. I
I'm here.
think we have connection issue with Houston. Yep, I'm here too.
I'm here.
Okay. Thân Thiện, are you there?
yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, thầy. We lost you there.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. So again, in Buddhist view, as long as we have intention, we create the karma. And last time we talked about if we have if we encounter accident, I mean, or if we hit the deer accidentally, again, the karma much lesser than we have intention to hit it or whoever. So the first of all, the important is the mind intention. And the second one, go back to and question is that do we have a choice or the karma lead us there? Yes, it's combination. First, there's some kind of relationship with uh, between ourselves, with other people. That's why we're here. But we have a choice to remain with them or to move on. Make sense? And yeah, we have the choice. Even our karma brought us here to get here, but we have a choice to live or to stay, or whoever we encounter with. Of course, the longer we build up the relationship, then the harder for us to walk away, whether it's in spouse, right, in marriage, right, uh, or in friendship. So, but we still have the choice. So basically, in Buddhist view, we can change our own karma. We not dictate by our own karma unless that kind of karma has been driven. Like say that somehow, let's say when we encounter constant, no way we can change that. It makes sense, Anand? Yeah. Yeah. So, Chris, so is it clear now, or what do you think?
That does clear it up a little bit for me.
And what else? What else you may still have doubt?
Well, I completely understand the part about we may have accumulated bad karma, negative karma through choices, but we can still change that. We don't have to stay on that path, that trajectory.
Yeah. And even in our class, right, we have some bad student. We don't have a choice because we, as a professor, teacher, supposed to teach them. But that's their choice to stay with us. And if they don't work hard, nothing we can help them out. That's depend upon them, not us. We try our best to provide them the guidance, the lesson, the knowledge, and it is up to them to accept or not. That's their choice, not our choice. We just try our best to fulfill our responsibility. Whether they mess up in the class or whether we follow us, that's may affect to how we teach, but not much important than how we handle our life, how we handle our class. Is that right, Dr. Michael?
Yeah, I think I understand it now. I'm thinking of a student that I had about a year ago who was the most difficult student I've had in years. And just way too sensitive for his own good, thought everything centered on him. And then the semester after I had him, I looked on my new class rolls and he was taking another class from me. And I thought, oh no. But what you do is you keep trying to do what you do. You do your choices. And he asked me at the beginning of the summer if I was teaching anything that he could take again. And I wasn't, but I was a little disappointed that I wasn't. By that time, I'd had him in 2 classes, and I was getting to the point that we were working well together.
Mm-hmm.
But that meant that he had to make some choices as well as I had to make some choices.
Mm-hmm.
So the karma is kind of shaped by a number of people, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you receive what you were dealt. You receive your own situation, but that situation is a product of your choices and other people's choices as well. Am I right?
Yeah, but remember, the mind lead everything. The intention lead the primary ones. The other people may affect to you the way that you teach. Let's say, okay, they may give you good comment, a bad comment.
Right.
If it's good comment, well, that's great, right? So you can follow whichever way that you have taught them. But if they give some kind of bad comment, it may be a push for you to change for better, right? But no matter who, the primary concern is your mind.
Right.
And like you say, right? Somehow at first, right? Somehow you have that kind of bad student, but it worked well because he recognized that he has the responsibility as a student to do the work, to get a good grade. And for his part, we cannot control it, but the only thing we can control is ourselves. Of course, like you say, another factor, like while you're teaching, somehow we sick, for example, right? I have many students during the COVID-19, they got sick. So of course, I gave them some leeway for them to work on their homework or whichever. Or even if it's happened to us, even we're sick, if somehow on the day that we have or like meeting, but somehow there's no internet connection, for example. So we may find some ways to work around that kind of problems. This is dependent upon our intention. So that is the point in Buddhism, that yes, if we have strong determination, we can lead the karma in the way that we want to, whether it's in our relationship or in our work, or at work, at school, or wherever. In the relationship, yes, if it's too much, it's unhealthy relationship, yes, we have intention to step out. Of course, if we entangle with that kind of relationship so strong, it's not easy to step out one day, but probably it may need a couple of days, couple of months, even a couple of years to step out of that kind of relationship.
Right.
But we have intention to step out of that unhealthy one. And if there's healthy one, we want to step in with our intention. So that's why in Buddhist view, the mind lead our karma. So if we don't understand that, we let our karma to control us. And somehow we say, oh, that's my fate. No, that's so passive. Yeah. Is understand, Chris? Oh, yes, and you one. Is that understandable?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, but I just want to clarify one thing, just to make sure I understand a little more. Not to challenge, but just to understand it. Okay. Let's say if I marry to my wife now, well, I'm married actually. So let's say I marry her because karma, past life, that's how we met, and so on and so forth. And so we met here. But because of last life, I always yell and scream at her all the time. Right? It's just for example of that. And now this life, she decides to scream and yell at me all the time. Doesn't matter how good I do or whatever I do. Just for fun, right? But is it karma? Because you yell and scream and people do so bad. You so bad people. At this life, you have to pay. Let's say you do 100%. From 1 to 10, you're a 10 last life, past life. Now this life you only pay 5, so you still have to pay the remaining 5. before you can move on. You follow me? Is it possible that you, even though you say, yeah, that's bad, I don't want to be like that, but because you past life, you kill 100 people, now you at least have to be suffer at least 100 years of prison, for example. That's one thing. The other thing I was wondering, I before I even know more about Buddhism, I always ask myself this question, if in Christianity, and if God is so powerful, why does he, this is my own thoughts, maybe you guys can answer this too in Buddhism as well. If things is so, God is so powerful, and why would we see suffering so much? So that's before I know about Buddhism. And that's why now I'm saying a little bit more about why there's suffering. But even that, the kid come out, like we talk about the whole article, talk about millions of kids are homeless, hungry, disease sickness, so on and so forth, cancer. When you're just born, they have it. It hurt me to think that it because that choice that they're born here. But I guess I learned a little bit about Buddhism that when you die and think what happened, I understand a little bit. It's hard to me to comprehend that concept when I see that much suffering for a little kid, young kid, or people have like depression or bipolar or as an example, So it's just something that as I read the article, I remember he raised the same question that I was raising before, and it's difficult for me to kind of reconcile that as well.
Okay, let me tackle one question at a time, right? You go back to your first question. That let's say now you have your wife, and you think that's you have done something now, whichever thing you do, right? You have done something to her in the past, but now whichever thing you do, she still disagree and so forth, right? So here, depend upon how we deal with the situation, whether it's good or bad. If we have positive mind, if even the situation is bad or unhealthy, but if we have a positive mind, we can transform that. Let's say if somehow we made mistake and that person yelled at us, and we can say, okay, that's good. Thank you. Thanks for remind me. I will make correction with that positive mind to deal with that type of scolding or criticism. It makes sense now? But if we have negative mind, right? Negative thought, even they love us so much, they give us some kind of healthy support, but we say we think negatively about them, it turns upside down. It makes sense now? So no matter who we deal with, as long as we remain positive, as long as we have that kind of healthy mind, a positive mind, we can deal with the situation much better than the one that have the negative mind. Does it make sense, An? So in Buddhism, that's the karma there, mentally. Does that make sense? Like in our case, as a professor, teacher, yes, some student may give us some kind of bad comment, bad feedback, and so forth. That's okay. Yeah, probably that's our mistake. We need to make correction, and we may appreciate that too. And in one in the Lotus Sutra, one of the chapter, what they call Devadatta, and I don't know whether you know Devadatta or not. So he's the one even tried to kill the Buddha, but the Buddha say, "Wow, he's my teacher. Without him, I could not become Buddha." And remember, in life, the one that used to criticize us, the one that give us the hard time, is the one that pushes the most. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
You follow me, and so again, the point is that yes, we can transform the karma depending on how we look at the situation. If we look at the situation in the positive way, everything will be in positive. If we look things in a negative way, we bring down ourselves, our friends and whoever. Make sense now?
Yes.
This
Yes,
is why the man. Yeah. So how about you, Chris? What do you think?
Tay, are you speaking to me?
Yeah. What do you think?
It was echoing. I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Would you repeat that, please?
My point is as long as we have positive attitude, right, toward any situation, we can transform the worst to the better, right?
Yeah, we have the power to alter the situation.
Yeah. It depends upon how we look at the situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How about Dr. Michael? Is that okay? Is that understandable?
Yes, it makes sense.
Regardless of the situation, whether someone affect to us in a negative way, someone give us negative comment, we are in the unhealthy situation. But if we have the healthy mind, if we have positive mind, positive outlook, we can transform them. That's why the Buddha say the mind is the main factor, not the other things. Is that clear now, Anand?
Dạ thầy, con clear nhưng mà con cũng còn suy nghĩ chút xíu thầy. Cũng còn suy nghĩ. Con hiểu nhưng mà cũng còn suy nghĩ. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yes, I understand, but I still have some thought in my mind as well. Just for discussion purposes. Let's say if same situation, my wife and I, okay, but let's say if just take another person, and pop into my situation. Now, if that person is not have a positive mindset like me, okay, I would say, yeah, I would be quiet. I would say, I'd be taking constructive criticism. I change it. But if another person like me, replicate me, but that person happened to be, no, I'm always right. Why? So that conversation back and forth. But because of that person is not that karma of that person is not good enough to be the ability to learn to comprehend things, so therefore he would be in that situation most of his life where he has to listen to the lady. You follow me? Just if I'm another person, it's a replica of me, but it's not as smart. Maybe he's a little bit slower, and he also have a karma to come like me. I'm just like a mirror image, but that person happened to be not like me in my thinking positive. He would not follow your recommendation to say, oh yeah, I will listen to you. I will do X, Y, Z. Everything is good. I will learn from it. The other person probably go opposite what I'm doing because his karma led him to there. They have to pay the price for what he did last life. That's why I'm trying to understand. That's why I'm trying to see what happened. I don't know anything about Buddhism, and that's my karma, right? I have no karma that lead me the opportunity to learn about Buddhism. Therefore, I don't know everything about it. I just going to accept what she said. I argue with her all the time. Is that karma, or is it because I have a choice? I don't know enough to make a choice. You follow me? That's why I'm trying to get at the distinction between. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah. How about you? What do you think, Dr. Michael? Is that ring the bell to you? His question.
Yes. I really identify with that situation. Not that I'm in that situation, but I understand that situation. I think that maybe what I tend to do, and this is a mistake, I tend to overthink what it is that's put me in the situation. Was it my karma? Was it something else that got me into this argument, rather than going from the moment that I'm in and seeking to make it better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back to my example of the cards. And the dealer deals me the cards,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at my hand of cards, and this is not a good hand for the whatever game we're playing, bridge, poker, whatever. It's not a good hand, but it's the hand I have to play. And so as I play that hand, I try with what I am given to do the best I can with it.
Yeah.
And I, rather than worry about the dealer, why did he deal me these cards? Or is he mad at me? Is this just an accident? Is it something more? I deal with the cards I'm given. I think what An was talking about, to me, is very interesting from a philosophical standpoint. I think that in terms of how I conduct my life, I try not to overthink the situation once I am in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How about Chris? What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think maybe when the Buddha was speaking about karma, what he meant was to focus on the now, what we can do, not so much why things have happened as a result of the past.
Yes, that's important. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for pointing up this point. Yeah. The present moment, the intention, and again, like Dr. Michael you mentioned, the acceptance too. The acceptance of the present moment and with intention to do better. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So that's just the combination there. But still, the mind lead us to live with the present moment. The mind lead us to have the acceptance of the situation. The mind lead us to move on, and the mind lead us to have positive views of the situation, so that we can carry on the karma in the way that we want to, not because we think, oh, that's my karma, we accept, that's my fate, I cannot do anything more and give up. That's not the case. So Anand, did you hear the whole combination, right? But my point is
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So again, in this article, the author mentioned about the other factor like the illness, the physical illness, the effect of the other people and so forth. But in Buddhist view, the mind factor is the primary one, no matter what we say, and I think that's the reality in life. Yeah. So that's just the most important. We need to understand. If we just say, "Oh, that's my fate," and nothing we can do, that's when we give up and we so passive that we could not have the will to change for better. And if we think too much about the past or the future, we get lost with the present moment here. That's why we working on our prayer meditation to train our mind to live with present moment, so that we can develop that type of good intention, a good a proper outlook for this present moment. So Thân Thiện, you understand? Thân Thiện?
Yeah, Mopak, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so let's now the question I want to move on. Let's say, can we eradicate, can we eliminate about karma? That's the next question the author asked. Can we do that? Can we have about the ability to eliminate about karma? Or even to compensate, right? What do you think? Thân Thiện, can we eliminate or compensate our bad karma?
Yes, Mopak, we can do that by repenting and recite the sutra that will help us to purify our karma.
But here, you talk as a Buddhist. For the non-Buddhist, how could you explain? The one who may not understand much about Buddhism, how could you explain that, yes, we can eliminate or compensate our karma? How?
I think by living in the present moment and have the better mindset and try to transform from bad to good and to be good to other people and be kind, be compassionate to other people.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so what do you think? Do we have that ability to eliminate or transform our bad karma?
With my limited experience, I say that's kind of similar to one question I had earlier. Commonly, it's here. If it's good, it's good. But if it's bad, you have to pay for it. Okay. Now we have to pay at least something. Otherwise, the reason why we're here, we have to pay the price, right? And why we're here. At least at present moment, we have to pay what we dealt with the karma we dealt with, whether good or bad. Now, but during this life, if we live this moment, and if we realize the teaching of Buddha, to live life where you can get rid of the three sins, like the greed, the hatred, and the delusion. Okay, and then follow the Eight Noble Paths and so on and so forth. That will help you get to a point where.
Can you still hear? How about, thank you. And about Trish, what do you think about that question? Can we have that ability to compensate, to pay back our karma, especially bad karma? What do you think?
Yes. The Buddha, I don't believe, would be speaking of enlightenment if there wasn't a way to be able to change the situation. So yes, I think that karma can be reversed.
Yeah. How about Dr. Michael? What do you think?
I think that sometimes it looks like an impossible task. It looks like the answer would be no, but I am encouraged by what Chris just said, that the possibility of enlightenment would not be available to us if we couldn't do that. So we do what we can in the moment that we have. And we don't dwell on what we have done or what might happen, but we do what we can in the moment.
Yeah. So again, like if we borrow the money, right, to pay for our house, our cars, yeah, sooner or later we have to pay for that. And
Right.
even we are human, even we are professional teachers, sometimes we grade the student in the wrong way too. That's our mistake. We may need to make correction. We may need to admit our mistake and make that correction. So in Buddhist view, it's nothing wrong to accept our mistake and make it up. So nothing wrong because we're still humans. So because sometimes we are not mindful enough. Why we reading the student papers, so many papers, so somehow we miss here and there, and we may give them the wrong rate. And if they complain, yes, if it's good good complaint, yes, we make that kind of correction. Then it's just that's the way in that we deal with bad karma, about the result that we do in the past. First, we need to accept our mistake, and we try to correct that in one way or another. We try to compensate that in one way or others. That's why in Buddhist view, let's say, especially in Mahayana Buddhist view, we encourage people not to consume meat, for example. Right? So what happens if we consume too much meat? in Buddhist tradition, we encourage people to release life, or to help the needy one, to help the poor people, to help the sick people. That's the way we compensate the current karma. It makes sense, Chris? You follow that? Yeah, if we borrow money from other people, yes, we try to work hard to earn some income to pay them back. And let's say if we have some kind of unhealthy relationship with other people, probably that's our karma. But again, it depends on our attitude. If we have positive attitude, yes, we accept to live with them in the present moment. We recognize our mistake, we recognize our karma, we understand them, and we can change for better. How we deal with the situation in mindful way or not. So if we understand, if we have that kind of mindfulness, if we have that kind of positive outlook, yes, we can transform the that we have done in the past, whether in the past life or even last year, last month, and so forth. Let's say if somehow because of our confusion and somehow we yell at our friends, our spouse, and so forth. And yes, at first we admit that sorry, we made that mistake, and we try to to make it up now, so that we would not. I mean that we admit first, and we try to make up whichever thing that hurt that person. So important in Buddhist view is if we make mistake, we need to accept that, and we should have the positive outlook of life mentally, so that we can deal with all the situation, so that we can mend that kind of relationship. We can compensate that kind of mistake or whichever we have done. Make sense now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And the last question before we end today, the last question, the author mentioned that is there any kind of karma that we do but we don't have any kind of effect? You understand the question? Here, let me pull out the question for you to follow. Let me go back here. Okay, here. Here the third question. There are certain types of action that do not lead to accumulation of a fruit or result at all. That's the third question. What do you think? Are there any type of action that do not lead to the accumulation of fruit? That means if we do do any action that may not lead to any kind of retribution.
Maybe I'm not as enlightened as the Buddha and the other Buddhists so far. But let's say an example I can give in my life would be maybe an example. Maybe I'm not sure it's correct or not, but as a parent, when you love your child, I think most parents would love that child unconditionally, without any reservations or a motive of something. You love them because you just love them unconditionally, and so that is maybe an example of one that may be just a flavor of what it might look like of that action. I'm not sure that would be correct or not, but that's an example I would offer.
Okay, thank you. Chris, what do you think about that question?
Let me see if I can rephrase the question. You were talking about, is there any kind of action that karma would create that would not affect something?
Would not
And I would say that there is not, because of origination, that all actions will create a ripple into other actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Dr. Michael? What do you think? That question.
I can't imagine an action that would not create a different situation. I can't imagine an action having done or thought something that it wouldn't change the world around you.
Yeah. In since but let me summarize somehow. In this article, the authors also argue that the action of the enlightened people, like the Buddha and Bodhisattva, Arhat, that would not create any kind of bad karma at all.
Right.
Okay, in one story, in Buddhist, one of the Buddhist story, there was a blind monk. He's blind. He was an enlightened person. He was a holy person. So because he was blind, so he walked on the road. Somehow he stepped on the insect, and some young monk complained to the Buddha, "Oh, that blind monk stepped on the insect. That means he killed the insect on the street, on the road." So the Buddha called people to bring him in and ask whether he has intention to step on those insects or not. He said, "Because I'm blind, I could not see. So I could not see, so I stepped on the insect." So the Buddha said, "Yeah, because he's an enlightened person. He didn't have intention to step on them. So he doesn't do any kind of kill and karma at all."
Oh.
So you understand that? So again, this is based upon the mindset here. I think for the third question is related to the bad karma. So if we have intention, we create some type of good or bad karma. But for go back again, the discussion we talked last time about hitting the deer while we ride in the car on the street, on the rural area or a mountain and so forth. We don't have intention to kill them. They come to jump out. So that's, in the sense, according to the authors, he tried to argue that yes, the action that we don't have intention would not yield any kind of karma at all. And especially when we talk about the Buddha and Bodhisattva, they don't have intention to harm others. That's why they don't yield any kind of bad karma. And then go back to your comment, like Anand, because of your love, unconditional love. Sometimes you may yell to your son, right? But of course, at that moment, your son may be angry. Oh, why did my dad scold me, yell me? Of course, you may raise some kind of tension between you and your son. But later on, when he mature, he reckon, oh, I remember when I made mistake when I was young. I so appreciate that my dad yelled at me so that I would not commit any wrong at all. So because of your unconditional love, even at first he could not recognize because he's still immature. But when he mature enough, he recognizes us. But if you scold him because of your anger, that's different story.
Yes, I see.
Now? Right, Anand, it makes sense now. That's why, again, go back to the things that I want to focus here today is the intention. And for us, definitely, whenever we do things, we may have the mind that swing back and forth between good intention and bad intention. It's not easy for us to remain neutral, unbiased, impartial. It's not easy because our minds always swing back and forth with this. Oh, I like that person. I don't like that person. It makes sense, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why for the holy monks, for the Buddha and Bodhisattva, their minds are impartial. They don't have intention to harm any sentient beings. That's why they don't create that karma like us. You make sense now? Okay. So wow, this time is up now. Okay, so so let's just end today, and let's see. We have one more Friday, right? Oh, next Friday. Oh yeah. So please book your schedule, Chris. Next Saturday, okay? We have
10
lunch.
a.m.
Okay, it's 10 a.m. All right. Please, Dr. Michael, please invite your wife to come too.
All right.
Okay, and your daughter if she can.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So thank you. So see you then. See you next Friday. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.